Hello and welcome back for another historic gameplay video. Today we're going to be playing Oops All Spells and we're going to be testing out this Phoenix Dredge deck. Similar to the last version, we're going to be playing Culling the Weak, trying to sacrifice our Ornithopter, Greedy Freebooter, and Shambling Ghast in order to play an early Balustrade Spy, milling ourselves. Then from there, we're looking to use Group Project, which lets us flash it back by tapping 3 untapped creatures to create a spirit token. Casting 2 of these from our graveyard means that we'll be able to return all of our Phoenix and kill our opponent on the same turn. Since the Phoenix come into play with haste and they're 3/2 flyers in conjunction with our Creeping Chill, depending on how many of these we have in our hand when we combo off, we should be able to kill our opponent in the same turn cycle. If not, we do have a couple copies of Progenitus in the deck so that we can have a second combat step for consistency. We're running a couple copies of Diabolic Intent. We also have a single copy of Beseech the Mirror to tutor up our Spy. It also counts towards the Phoenix spell count. The deck does have the potential to go off on turn 1, and unlike the last version, this one can actually legitimately win the game. However, you do need a perfect series of cards to do so. So we might or might not get to see that today. While I don't expect we'll have any trouble actually comboing off, I am concerned about getting up to 3 spells. If we have some Narcomoeba in hand or potentially some of our group project, I think we might actually struggle to get there. So that's something that I want to keep an eye out during the gameplay, as the last version of the deck that we played did feel very consistent and very strong. So when we're making that comparison with this deck, that's the main thing I'm going to be focusing on. So without further ado, let's jump into the gameplay and see how the deck does. This hand is a bit on the slower side, but it has all of our pieces. Storm Chaser's talent. Draw into our first Progenitus. So there's only one left in the deck. Corey Steel Cutter triggers the Otter, and they attack in. We'll take a chump block here, generate our treasure. And then Culling the Weak means that we can combo off right now. No need to take any damage either. So that's one spell. Play out our Spy. And our opponent concedes. Good game. I think this has a bit too many of our dredge pieces in hand, so we're going to mulligan. It also doesn't have a plan for comboing off. This is also lacking. This is the best hand we have so far. We're going to definitely put back a Creeping Chill. And then I think we actually put back Culling the Weak here. Well, close call. Just between one of the creatures and Culling the Weak. Yeah, I think it's got to go because not going to be able to get our Freebooter down in time to Diabolic Intent due to the tap land. Of course, we draw into our Spy. Can we do it all in one turn? See if we play out the Freebooter. Theoretically, we could do it next turn if the Freebooter survives. Gives our opponent less of a window to use the Sentinel. Guide of Souls. And a Veteran, so a white weenie deck. Potentially Soul Sisters, but you don't usually see a Esper Sentinel in those builds. So we'll sacrifice the Freebooter. Doesn't matter because we're tutoring. go grab our Culling the Weak. Play out our Ornithopter. This is spell number 2. Get Spy down. Return some Narcomoeba. Drain for 12. Create some tokens here. Don't need all of these, but might as well. And we can even play out our tap land, finish the game empty-handed. And then here, we can attack for lethal in the air. Good game. This presents a turn 2 attempt if our Shambling Gas survives. We'll bolt ourselves and play it out. If we had a second land, we could have waited until turn 2, try and combo all at the same time, but the gas is likely not to be removed because their opponent won't want to give us a treasure. And they play out a temple tapped. So now all we have to worry about is surgical extraction. Bring back our Narcomoeba, drain our opponent for 12. Tap down some creatures. This is the third spell. Phoenix come back. And we hit for 12 in the air. On to the next. This hand is a little bit slow. Does have all of our combo pieces. Start on a tap land. Watery Grave. I think here we're going to get down 2 of our Ghast. If our opponent kills either one of these, we can try to play out a Spy next turn. And we'll discard one here. And then here, I think we're actually going to keep the freebooter in hand as discard fodder. Yeah, don't think I've ever seen this card played before. Is this an Estrid's Invocation deck? Using this to drain their opponent for the win condition. Here, don't think we can actually combo off without using a spell first. I hadn't thought about that. Creeping Chill will drain our opponent, but we won't get the Phoenix back. Let's see. Actually, I think this will work. Since we do have 3 flashback spells, and I believe we should be able to cast all of them. No surgical, so just get across the finish line here. Good game. All right, so here we have 1 Phoenix in hand. Only 2 mana towards the Spy. I think we can do better. This one will give a chance to, and I think we put the Phoenix back into the deck. Start on a tapped land. Looks like we're up against wizards. No early creature. Play out the freebooter and tap land. Opponent shocks in, plays the Arcanist, and Culling the Weak is actually just going to do it here. Play out the Spy. Again, just looking to dodge surgical at this point, and it doesn't look like our opponent has anything holding priority. They're not happy, but that's best of one. And there's the concession. So deck is doing pretty well today. This hand won't do. This one we can try. And I think that we are going to bolt ourselves, get out one of these freebooters early. Looks like we're also up against an Oops All Spells deck, so no harm in bolting ourselves again. That's not what the game is going to be about. Opponent bolts themselves, plays out the springs, and then gambles. Love to see Charbelcher go to the yard. No, they're going to ramp instead. Means they likely already have one in hand. They pull in the same trick here. They're not, and there goes the Charbelcher. So they probably messed that up. And unfortunately, we can't punish. It's even worse. We draw into another Phoenix. They shock in, and looks like they had everything already. So don't know what they were gambling for there, if they already had the Iron Crag and the Charbelcher in hand. Unless they had double Charbelcher, and they tutored for the Iron Crag. Gonna take a look at their deck here, just see what they're playing. I know Jessica's Will is not in my version of the build. Just some rituals. Gambles so that they can go find the Charbelcher. They have a couple more dual lands, even the ones that come in tapped. Suppose Jessica's Will can let them combo off on turn 2. That's something I should consider for my build, do some testing with. How many pact negation do they have? Just 2. So I'm not running the full playset of that. This hand has Culling the Weak and a creature to sacrifice, but doesn't currently have the Spy. Alternatively, we can use the Diabolic Intent to go grab one. We'll give it a try. We're on the draw, so we'll see what we draw into as well. Narcomoeba. We'd prefer to have that in the deck. And we're going to be up against the... I was going to say it's most likely Green Devotion, but usually they don't play the Badgermole Cub. So I think this is a combo here. Sacrifice the gas, create a treasure token. Diabolic Intent. Go grab our Spy. Then we bolt ourselves and play out the Spy. Since we already cast 2 spells, we only need to flash back group project 1 time. This should be lethal in there. Good game. This hand needs a bit of help, but we're pretty close. Say pretty much any creature would probably do it for us. Well, outside of the Phoenix, obviously, which we can't cast. But I'd even take a Narcomoeba. Looks like Hammer. Nope, it's going to be Auras, and there's the Phoenix. Play out a tap land, pass the turn. Opponent is being patient. They're going to try and catch us. And this should do it here. Play out the Ornithopter, sack it to Diabolic Intent. This can go get our Culling the Weak. Oh, did I go right past it? No, where is it? Buried deep. Sack the Ornithopter. Lets us play out Spy. With 1 red showing, don't think there's anything our opponent can have here. Might as well flash back both. And that'll do. This hand is bad. This one, a bit slow. Let's see if we shock in Freebooter. Intent can go get, I'll give it a try. Up against the red deck. Still like our original game plan. Don't expect they'll want to take out the Freebooter. And it's actually Gruul. So, Woodlands combo. They are able to win over the top of us. We'll go grab our Spy. And then, did we play our land already? We did. So just play our Ornithopter as a blocker. Alternatively, we can nuke our opponent's graveyard here, but this deck is so good at replaying their cards. Well, we might have to now. Let's see. Yeah, Spy's just not going to be the count that we need. So let's use the Trawler, try and slow them down a bit. I think that was, what, 3 Omniscience already? So pretty good hit for us. But this is exactly what I was worried about, is 1 spell here, and they've got Delirium again already. Alright, so this should do it though. Start with Diabolic Intent. Use this to go get Culling the Weak. Sack the Trawler. Does look like our opponent has a board wipe in hand. I forget whether theirs does. Oh, here it is, 2 damage. That's 3 mana, which they have showing. So if they have it, they have it. We can't really play around it. Well, they haven't fired it off yet. Might be waiting for a big blowout. We'll see. Because now it seems like they're holding priority again or something. Nope. They just wait and then eventually concede. Alright, so there you have the deck. And while I can say it definitely produces faster wins, it also felt like it was much more difficult to assemble the combo, in the sense that in the other version of the deck, we just had to get up to 4 mana and then play out our spy. Whereas in this version, we also have to be worrying about having cast 3 instant or sorcery spells, or having the ability to cast 3 instant and sorcery spells over the course of that same turn cycle, which does put a bit of strain on how fast we can go as well if we don't have a turn 1 Culling the Weak line. It also makes things more difficult, such as just playing out 4 lands and then a spy, because that obviously would not have the necessary spells cast. And in that line, you don't even have enough creatures to flash back 3 copies of Group Project, assuming one's not in your hand already as well. So while this one's definitely faster, for me personally, I would probably continue to play the other version of the deck. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried both versions. Which deck do you prefer? As always, I'd like to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content.